Hey, how's it going there, folks? Welcome back here to a Thursday night. It is the Earthmaster out here. March 14th, 2024. It's about 10:24 p.m. here, California time. Latest activity looks like a 1.9 on the big island of Hawaii. Man, did we see some earthquake activity out here in the Atlantic Ocean earlier today, out there in the mid-Atlantic ridge. Let's check this out. It's been a while since we've seen any earthquake activity, and it came in with a kind of a big fashion there, knocking on the door with at least 6 decent-sized earthquakes, the largest being a 6.0. Now, no tsunami out here. This set up, the Atlantic ridge, this divergent boundary is not set up to produce any type of tsunami activity. And they don't get much bigger than a 6.5 or 6.6 or so. But, yeah, a little bit of activity out there in the fracture zones, creating some new oceanic crust out there over time slowly. Trying to think when the last time we actually seen some activity out here was. So let me give a quick glance here at the data. We're going to go back here just over the last year or so. I'm just kind of curious to see. Because I know it's been a little while. I know it's been at least a month since we've seen any activity out there around the mid-Atlantic ridge area, specifically in this region right here. So let's go check it out, see what's up. And by the way, we'll give a shout out here to the members at the end of this video. We have our member drawing coming up tomorrow, so I will give a shout out to our current members. So looking at about 68 earthquakes here in total, with, of course, the latest ones being today. Prior to that, it looks like it was almost a month ago we've seen a 4.5. So definitely, you know, almost a month since we've seen activity out here. And this earthquake out here, 4.5. Trying to think if we've seen anything else besides from that. Looks like some 4s and a couple 5s. But as far as 6-pointers go, this is about the only 6-pointer here in this area in the last year. So definitely some decent activity stirring up out here today, specifically in this fracture zone here. Looks like it's very close to the Atlantis. Ooh, there we go. Fracture zone. Interesting name, right? Let me go back here to the magnitudes. And the interesting thing that took place here with these earthquakes is they're roughly within literally a few minutes of each other, or an hour at most. So the last one looks like about this afternoon time period, about 3 o'clock my time here. Doesn't look like we're seeing anything further up north here, but this could affect the activity up into the Iceland area. So I want to go check that out here real quick, see what's going on for earthquake activity. This is the positive magnitudes. I did a quick glance here in terms of what these negative quakes mean. I just did a little search from the USGS. And how can an earthquake have a negative magnitude? So technically, an earthquake of a negative magnitude is a very small earthquake that is not felt by humans. But there's a lot of microquakes that are not felt as well. But it looks like that is, you know, just due into relationship between this statement here. So if that's the case, when we put all these magnitudes up here on the map, we got 159 of them. A lot of this is very close here to the Grindavik area. In fact, if we get rid of those negatives and just include all the positive above M0, there's still a lot of activity, and some of that is directly underneath Grindavik here. That one's about 7 kilometers deep. This one about 2 kilometers. Now, I have noticed a couple very shallow quakes, 1.8, not very shallow. Oh, what do we got coming in right now? Why is that orange? What's going on here with that? Let me double check something here real quick. Can't really see nothing here on the live from Iceland site. All of these are blocked out. A lot of weather going on up there right now, but I'm not for sure why this is orange. That wasn't the 2.1, was it? No, that was way over here, way up north. That's just a little weird. So I'm not for sure why that was orange there, circle. Hopefully that's not a bad sign of things to come. But either way, look at this activity. Some of it, again, shallow. I'm trying to find some of these shallow earthquakes right there. 0.13. Oh, those are GPS stations. There's, I guess, what I'm seeing. All right, I see. There's a couple options on here I really never noticed, so that's actually a really cool feature. I'm glad I accidentally stumbled upon that. This gives us a good indicator here. Well, this is neat. I mean, look at this GPS statement here. Hopefully this thing works. Looks like it is. This is a vertical displacement. This one does look like it's accurate and up to par in terms of the latest data here, the 14th. So we're going up still. We did have a little dip. Look at this dip right here. In the inflation, but now we're going back up and higher. We're up to about the maximum level as to what we've seen prior to the last eruption here that happened back in early. Well, there's the February eruption. This is the January eruption, so we're matching that right now. We're above the previous level in February, so we're definitely getting close here, folks. I think if anything, that activity we're seeing out there today in the Atlantic, if it spreads north here, we get some further activity in these divergent zones. We're going to be looking at some eruptive activity. Unfortunately, to me anyway, it looks like it's taken more of a southward turn here. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to specifically happen here, but we're getting elevated GPS here in this area and elevated earthquake activity. Let's check out, yeah, these are the last 24 hours here. Let's go back just to the last 12 or so and see what we got. It looks like it's died off. A lot of that activity was from earlier, but still, you know, elevated movement. There's definitely something going on underneath this area. So we'll continue to watch that and report back on it. I just got to remember here to take advantage of that, the GPS there with this site instead of going to other sites here. I like that. All right. So, you know, I learn something new every day, right? I think we all learn something new every day. Far as the latest informational statement here from the Icelandic Meteorological Office right here. See if they got any new statements out. This was put out here a couple days ago, and it's the same statement as before. Increased likelihood of an eruption, and I think that's correct. We're at our highest level here, even higher than the January eruption. So the January eruption was a little bit closer there to the Grindavik area. Remember, we had one open up northeast of Grindavik, and then we had a very small fissure open up just outside of town that destroyed, unfortunately, a couple homes there. I think it was 2. And now we're getting GPS displacement on the uptick there in terms of inflation right underneath the Grindavik area. So it's something to watch here, folks, pretty closely. I still think it's likely that we could see some eruptive activity there directly underneath or within the city or the village town of Grindavik. So we will continue to watch that. Definitely some interesting activity out here in the Mid-Atlantic today. Let's see what else we got. Off the coast here of El Salvador, we've seen a 5-pointer coming in, Middle America Trench here. See if we got any further activity out here in this area. Looks like a lot of the clustering here has disappeared. Some older clustering up north here along this section of the Middle America Trench from earlier this morning, maybe late last night as well. So, but it looks as though almost things are kind of wanting to go down here across this area along the plate boundary with this latest 5-pointer here. So we'll continue to watch that. South America, a handful of smaller quakes out there, really nothing major going on. New Zealand, no further activity aside from some movement this morning and overnight. There's our 4.8 in the quiet zone, right? So we did get hit here around the Vanuatu area. Not a big earthquake, but it's deep. So we're getting some further strain into the subduction zone areas up here, which could have an effect on the surface fault, the surface areas upstream, where we could see a likelihood of maybe some larger movement out here. So looks like we may be turning back to a quiet zone here across this area. Older movement quakes here off the coast of Japan there in the red circles. As far as the most recent activity, it looks like the Java Trench is a winner tonight with activity stirring up here, clustering going on with quite a few 3s and 4s out here across this area. So we'll continue to watch that for some further movement. Across the rest of the globe, looks like China area and eastern Afghanistan getting some activity up there. Across the Mediterranean, a handful of smaller quakes out here with some 3s and 2s. Doesn't look like anything major is going on. Let's check out the California area. Pacific Northwest real quick, very quiet, aside from one little 1.7 this morning outside of the Seattle area. Into Northern California, let's see what we got. Let's pull up the 2.5 map here, see if anything's of noteworthy value. Well, there's a 2.5 around the Morgan Hill area. That's just off of the Calaveras fault zone, one of these fractures that break off here from the plate boundary. Not a big earthquake, 2.5. A couple other smaller quakes down along the San Andreas Fault. Really no further movement up north in Southern California. Look at this. What in the world is going on out here? This is very minimal activity. If you look at this map on any given day and see this little of earthquakes, something's going on. It's super quiet. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing out here. It depends on how you look at it. We did see a 1.8 here off of the Brawley seismic zone, and then a little 1.4 prior to that, but nothing going on here across the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault for now, up into the Intermountain West areas. Idaho, still seeing some activity out there around Stanley, Idaho, and the Smiths Ferry region of Idaho. This is where they've seen that upper 4-pointer here a few weeks back now. I think it's been a few weeks or so. Yellowstone National Park, nothing showing up here aside from one earthquake around the Hebgen Lake Estates there in Montana. But let's double check the Yellowstone overview here. See if there's any earthquake activity. Interesting here. Interesting because this area right here's well, look at that. You guys see that signature right here? That is showing up also on the west boundary station here. It does look like a little bit of earthquake activity. Mary Lake picking that up as well down here. It's a little interesting signal. It does look like some earthquake activity. Hard to say exactly where it's at. It does look like it may be centered around the Madison River area. This right here, I'm not talking about this, but I'm specifically chatting about this activity. That's either a lot of earthquake activity happening at once or some type of fluid movement going on here across the area. We'll have to check back on that, see what it does overnight. Some of that activity showing up here across the areas further away around this station. See, those look like little small earthquakes, but it's picking up this activity that's centered around this area of the park. So, yeah, a little bit of interesting earthquake activity there at Yellowstone. Nothing showing up here on the USGS map. They'll hopefully get to that in the morning. It's Friday, tomorrow, right? So hopefully they get to it, or at least investigate it. Aside from that, earthquake activity out in Texas, scattered out here across the area of oil fields outside of Midland and the Big Spring area of Texas. Quite a few oil fields out here, as you can see listed on the map. Did see some big-time severe weather out here today. We'll check out the storm reports here in a little bit. 2.2 near White House Station, New Jersey. A little small earthquake out here. Notice the fractures or the fault systems out here, mountain ranges. They do get some earthquakes out there. It's not very common, but looking at the U.S. hazard map here, does have New York in an area of seismically active hazard here. All right, Hawaii. Looks like we're kind of active out here today. 2.3 in the last hour. Also a 1.9. A little scattered activity stretching out towards the ocean here. Let's go over and see what we have here for the Kilauea volcano. Check out the latest data here. I switch over to this browser because I have some issue when I go with my Google Chrome to that website. I'm not for sure why, but it seems to work better with the Edge browser in terms of popping up these images. Here's a tilt meter. Inflation going on there at the Kilauea volcano. Not a whole lot, just some minimal activity over the last 2 days. Over the last 30 days or so, still seeing a gradual uptick. But definitely looks like we're seeing continued earthquake swarming going on here across the area southward. Let me see. I think these are fairly deep earthquakes. Yeah, those are about 31 kilometers or so. As far as the seismograph stations go, there's some of that earthquake activity, but there's really not a whole lot going on. Just it looks like it there on the map, but some of that may be from last night or early this morning as well. So no major changes going on there across the Hawaii area for now. There's activity in Japan from earlier this morning. No new further activity to report there for now. Over here across the Aleutian Trench, you can see where the subduction zone is. Handful of smaller quakes there across the Aleutian Islands there. Nothing major going on up there into the Alaska area. And far as the Canada region goes, I'll go check that out real quick. I should include them more often because what goes on in Canada is of interest for sure, considering that, well, you got the northern edge here of the Cascadia subduction zone. A little bit of activity showing up here today as well, although this looks like it's on the plate boundary itself of the North American and Pacific plate. A little 2.3 there outside of the Queen Charlotte Sound, BC region. Some activity further up north as well. Doesn't look like any big-time earthquake activity going on up here for now. This covers the last 30 days or so, it looks like, and maybe even older, according to the color legend down here. All right, space weather activity. Looks like we're experiencing a data blackout there. It happens every 24 hours or so when we lose the data. A little bit of, I don't know what's going on over here. A little party going on the western limb from our active region, 3599, which is no longer a part of the visible disk. It does look like it's fairly active over there, though, far as maybe some prominences or eruptions going on. Figures, right? As soon as that gets out of sight, out of mind, it goes crazy. Overall threat right now is fairly low, 75% chance for a C flare, M flare at 15, and the X flare around 1% chance or less. Really not a whole lot of roars in the forecast. I would like to see that change. I don't want any doom and gloom, but I would love to see some auroras out there across the middle latitudes or so. With this solar cycle, right? Solar cycle 25 maximum. Come on, let's see something going on out here. Right now, there's not a whole lot in terms of complex sunspots at all. Looking at 35. Whoa, when was this? This looks like it's recent. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this one. Looks like there's been some recent far side. That was at 0338 a couple hours or so ago. So it looks like we missed it. That's why it's still so bright out there on that side, because it looks like they had some type of massive explosion out there. Goodness. That's a huge eruption from 3599, it looks like. That's the one that had been facing us here for a little while. Of course, not Earth directed. I do want to look at 3590 here. It's getting much closer to cresting the eastern limb over here. This is a fairly recent image. And 3590 is the source of the X flare activity here recently. It is coming back. It's been traveling on the far side of the sun here recently, and it's coming back over here across the eastern limb of the sun, and that's going to be visible here pretty soon. It'll be coming around the bend here once again. It'll get renamed, but that is our old sunspot there. That is the source of the strongest X flare so far this solar cycle. But that's quite an explosion going on there off of the western limb. Let's see if we caught it on here. It does look like it barely caught it. Pretty decent eruptive flare event out there. That's crazy looking. But again, not Earth directed. Storm Prediction Center still seeing some severe weather overnight. Looks like they're across portions of the towards the southeast or so. I know they've seen some big time weather out there. Remember how that looked? Well, if you look here on the Storm Prediction Center, you can see this broad area of severe weather potential, and look at all the storm reports all within that region. So I think the Storm Prediction Center here did a pretty good job of forecasting this. I did not mean to do that. Let's go back here because they did have that area up there in the 5% zone for tornado probability, and it looks as though that's where the majority of the tornadoes were at today, around Ohio and the Illinois area, with 8 confirmed reports coming in. Maybe Indiana as well. I thought we seen some out in Illinois. Maybe not. We'll have to check this out tomorrow. But filtered tornado reports. Oh, I did not mean to do that. But I don't know why I downloaded it right there. We did see some damage, unfortunately, due to some of these tornadoes across the Ohio. One down in Texas as well, near Collin. Indiana, wind damage, not confirmed. Okay, so these may not even be confirmed tornadoes. So we'll have to check back on that tomorrow. But as you can see, there was a lot of wind, a lot of hail threats as well. Goodness, I seen some huge hail being reported out there. Ping pong ball size hail. The size of a palm or 2 golf balls put together, estimated 3 to 4 inches. And that's kind of what they were calling for in this area, St. Charles, Missouri area, it looks like. So that's some window breakers, that's for sure. Severe weather tomorrow. Does look like it shifts down further south here. There's still a tornado threat, 2% chance or so across the area. Mostly wind and some hail threats out there as well. So we'll check that in the morning. Either way, it was going to be a severe weather day, and they've been chatting about it here for a couple days. It looks like that played out, although most of the tornadoes, at least from what I can tell, were much further up north, out of that main area that was over here. All right, let's see what else we got. Members, how's it going out there, members? We're going to give a heads up here in a member shout out. We don't do it all the time. We like to do it at the end of the videos. And we're doing a member drawing tomorrow on Friday. Perfect timing. Member drawing is where we give away prizes here to a lucky winner that we pick out. Sometimes we pick 1, sometimes we pick 2. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes. But we like to give away some prizes here and for being a member. And it could be a $50 Visa or MasterCard gift card of your choice. Or if you want some Earthmaster merchandise, like a t-shirt or a sweater, something like that, that's also an option. Or if you want a really cool, I think it's a 11 or 9-piece geology mining kit, we can get you that as well. It's just our way here on the channel of saying thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel here. We got quite a few this month, it looks like. 86 members. That's about 20 more than what we had last month. So right now, what do we got here? Kenneth Smith, thanks for being a super fan there for about 4 months. Rejoined today. Thank you very much. SJ, a brand new member here. 0 days, brand new. Thank you for becoming a member. You will be entered into the fishbowl. Cam, looks like a new member as well. Emphasize, 0 days. Thank you for becoming a member. Not for sure. I don't want to pronounce that wrong, so I'll have to get back to you. But this right here, I'll point this out. Potentially, what is that? Liam? Lime? I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but super fan, thank you very much for becoming a member. Patrick Jones, 6 months here, rejoined today. Mindy, thank you very much for becoming a brand spanking new member. Good Oak Press, 7 days here as a member. Thank you very much. Kathy Doan, long-term member here, 12 months, rejoined 15 days ago. Jay Fuentes, 347, 21 months. Goodness, rejoined 21 days ago. Thank you, Jay Fuentes, 347, for sticking around here so long. Alice Hess, 22 days. Stephanie Jean, another name here I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce here. Have Missy Mimi's help me. 2 months here for this member. Andrew Harmsworth, 2 months. Cindy Skidmore, 27 days. Big Island, looks like 1 month here. Cassandra, superfan, 29 days. Michelle Farmer, long-term member here, 8 months. Rejoined 29 days ago. Thank you very much. Army Senior, looks like superfan here for 29 days. Meb Bernard, 29 days. James, 29. Another one here, 29 days. Darren Johnson, 29 days. Samantha, 29. That's going to be Shelly Wolf, right? Hopefully. 29 days. Thank you very much for being a member. Thomas, 72Z, 29 days. I see you. 29 days. David Gerner, 1 month. Kathleen, a long-time member here, 9 months. Jay, not for sure I'll just say that, 29 days. Anastasia, hopefully, 29 days. Arthur, 29 days. Steve, 29. There's a lot of 29 days on here. I think a lot of these folks here were gifted memberships here. So you can also do that on the channel as well if you feel like giving away some memberships. Mick, 29 days. BA, 29. Home, 29. DK Sun, 29. Long-time member here. Nancy Kozowski, thank you very much here for being a long-term member. Kasumi Rose, 1 month. Elizabeth Warman, 11 months. Beth, 4 months. Lucy Maker here at 12 months. ADHD established 4 months. Rejoined a month ago. Thank you for rejoining. Timothy, superfan here and also a moderator on the channel. 16 long months here. Thank you very much, Timothy. If I remember right, Timothy was our very last winner here last month in the member drawing. Rejoined 2 months ago. Thank you very much. Albert Sanchez Jr., a long-standing member here. We appreciate you, Albert. 21 months. Thank you very much. Linda, superfan, 12 months. Tony Miller, 2 months. Not for sure on that, but 2 months. Thank you very much. Greg Bennett, 5 months. Harlita Javika, a long-term member as well, and a gifter of many, 9 months. AK Girl, superfan, 2 months. Amanda Little, 10 months. Maria Park, 20 months. Superfan, someone, 13 months. Donna, 3 months. Helen Horn at 14 months. Hope and Feathers, long-term member as well, 20 months. Trish M, 4 months. Goodness, this is we're getting up here. I remember we were just I think the highest we've been was about 100 or so members. Sharni T, 4 months. I Am Valentina, 5 months. Kay Clark, 5 months. Rick, 6 months. Laura Bonnet, 15 months. Robert H, 6 months. Jeannie Baker, 11 months. Angela Willock, 7 months. Bitter Harvest, 7 months right there. Thank you very much. MST Pear, 7 months. Genevra Freeland, 8 months. The Dot Hacker, 9 months. Rob, 52. Thank you very much, Rob, for hanging in there. 21 months. Rejoined 9 months ago. Alan Gressick, 11 months. Craig England, 14 months. Clayton, long-term member as well, 17 months. Hurricane Heather, 18 months. Janice Seiler, 17 months. Juno James, 17. Mike Moses, 17. Joycelyn Burzik, 18 months. Betty Kelly at 19. Debash Mode, 19 months. Pretty solid there. Look at that. Joelle Kozowski, 19 months. Pretty solid. Pamela Conley. We're getting into the solid ones here that have been committed here to the channel with no breaks at all. Pamela Conley, Ray Addington, Robert Kozowski. Well, Robert's down here on the bottom, but that makes Robert the longest standing member on here. without having to rejoin. Now, the total time as a member is J Fuentes 347. Goodness, that is crazy. So we appreciate you guys, every single one of you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow. Of course, I'll do a morning update. I will announce when the drawing will be. It'll probably be late afternoon. I got some school stuff I have to do for Friday, but we'll definitely have that drawing in the afternoon. I'll give a time in my morning update. All right, let's see what else is going on here. I miss anything? Doesn't look like it. I think everything's stable for now, but again, that was a lot of earthquake activity out here in the Atlantic. Something definitely making some adjustment here, and that should affect the Iceland area here soon. Seismograph stations looking pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on. A couple spikes around the Hot Caves Hawaii station, but those are very small microquakes. Far as the weather goes, we got some warm temperatures coming up here tomorrow around my neck of the woods. Look at that north wind kicking up here. Right now we got about 53 degrees. I have about 54 or so here at my house. Tomorrow for a Friday, check out these temperatures. They're going to go up a little bit here. I think it says 71. I think we're supposed to be a little bit warmer, but I'll take 71. And this weekend even looks a little bit, these guys are showing a little bit cooler, so a little bit warmer there on Sunday. I guess we'll see. Look at that day. I've got widespread 70s for Monday and Tuesday. And either way, it's going to be about a week of beautiful sunshine and 70-degree temperatures, maybe a little bit warmer, and I'm okay with that. As far as long-term models go across the West Coast, there's our severe weather right now there in the Midwest area. Let's check out the California area, West Coast. I don't see any rain on the forecast here until maybe right there. Look at that. Around the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, we get some rain coming in there. Looks like a pretty, wow, that's a huge low pressure system. Look at that. This whole map is spinning. Deep low pressure trough coming in. That could spell some big time trouble for some severe weather out here. That's definitely something we want to watch. And some more rain behind that. I'm kind of curious to see what the weather is going to be like around the eclipse date on the 8th of April. I'll be out here in Texas within the line, directly in the line where the longest duration of totality is going to take place there at a little Texas town, unnamed, but I'll announce that once I am out there. 4 minutes and 24 seconds of totality. I can't wait. I'm getting excited. Yeah. So that's about 3 weeks or so away, right? Somewhere around there. And can't wait. I'm ready for it. Ready for a nice, beautiful eclipse. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Have yourself a good night. Again, tomorrow's Friday. We made it. The weekend is upon us, technically. And I hope everyone has a good night. We'll catch you guys back out here in the morning. And look for that member drawing tomorrow. Take care, folks.